Okay, so this is Mishlei, chapter 23, pesukim 26 through 27. I think this is the end of the local cluster. Arguable, because I'll just show you preview for what comes after this. After this, you have, oops, I'm in the wrong parak. After this, in 23, you have a little discourse on wine.
Nice.
From 29 through 35, which is the end of the parak, and it does not seem to. I mean, it's possible that he's talking to the sun, but it's not explicitly talking to the sun. Whereas I think this is the last one that explicitly talks to the sun. Okay, Tana b'ni libacha li ve'inacha dorchai titzorna kishucha amuka Zonah uve'er tzara Nochriyah. All right, anyone want to tackle that? If not, then I'll do it. It's not the easiest pesukim to translate. Okay, so Tana b'ni libacha li literally means give your heart or your mind to me, but tain lev means to pay attention, like sim lev, so I'll say give or okay. All right, let's say pay attention, my son, to me. Okay, literally give your heart, mind to me. Ve'inecha dorachai titzorna, and let your eyes guard my ways. Oops, sorry about that. Titzorna is, I just want to see if there's any nuance that I'm missing in titzorna. Means to guard.
Is it to guard for you, plural?
I will. Oh, nice. Look at you. Yeah. We'll look at that in a second. Guard, watch, keep. Yeah. So I don't know the difference between this and shomer. They're both used that way, but this is definitely the rarer one. Okay. So einecha dorachai titzorna. So it is feminine, and it is. So what is he talking to?
It could either be that or guard for them, plural. I mean, guard for them in feminine.
Titzorna. Dorachai titzorna. Well, he's talking to feminine.
I'm just giving.
Yeah. All right, we'll see how the English takes it. Okay, but good that you're noticing that, because it is feminine, or I mean, seems to be. Okay, kishucha amuka Zonah ube'er tzara Nochriyah. How do you translate it? Yeah. Yeah. So for a let's just say harlot for now. For a harlot is a deep pit. Ube'er tzara Nochriyah.
Thin or narrow.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Or in a.
Yeah, narrow well is good. Yeah.
Unknown. Nochriyah is unknown woman.
Stranger woman, right? Yeah, and a stranger woman is a narrow well. Okay. Sadigon says Hasev b'ni me. Is that a typo that I did, or is that what it actually says? Okay, yeah, so there's a typo. So it's supposed to be hold on a second here. Yeah, machshavtecha. It's not. Yeah, that's a typo. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense. Okay, so hasev b'ni machshavtecha eliv einecha titzorna dorachai. Okay, so my son. Okay, hasev, I think, is to turn around. Like Savivav, Soviv. So Hasev b'ni machshavtecha, or like circle around, circle. Let's say circle back. Oop, that's not how you spell circle. Circle back your thoughts to me. Ve'inecha titzorna dorachai, and your eyes should guard my way. Hazona shucha amuka v'nachriya kiver tzara. For a harlot it's funny, he says he doesn't have the kaf here, right? Is a deep pit, and a stranger woman is like a narrow well, right? You would think that both of them are analogies, similes or metaphors, right? But he differentiates them. Okay, Targum. I don't know if we're gonna get much out of the Targum. Havli bri libach v'ainach tintaran arachasai mitul de gumtsa amikta zanyasa ubira de'aka nuchreis. Okay, that's just a literal translation. Okay, then we have our English here. which is, oh, this computer's a little slow today. My child, give your heart to me and your eyes will desire my ways. For the harlot is a deep pit and the strange woman is a narrow well. Okay. Oh, interesting. So they say your eyes will desire my ways. They don't say it's from, what did the, Nitzar. What was that?
That's more than Zonah.
Yeah, right. So it's interesting. Natsar. Tin Sareka. So you know what they might be doing here? Hold on, just a second here. Tin Titsorna. Yeah, so I translated it from Natsar, which I think is how it is. They're doing it from the Ksiv. That's really interesting. Never seen them do that before. Right, because so we didn't actually know this in our translation here. Your eyes, let your eyes guard, and then the Ksiv, sorry, the Ksiv is Ksiv is desire. Oh, remind me, I have a language thing to tell you after. Two language things. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know why Arsenal does that. My guess is it's going to come either from Rashi or the Mitzudos, but I don't know why they do that. Living Knox says, pay attention to me, my son, and let your eyes keep my ways. For the harlot is a deep pit and the foreign woman is a narrow well. Altar says, pay mind, my son, to me, and let your eyes keep my ways. For a whore is a deep ditch and a narrow well, the stranger woman. Okay, now, usually when it comes to Alter's commentary, I usually show you the commentary he writes that explains the words, but I withhold his like perush, you know. Here, I wasn't sure which way to go, but I wanted to make sure to read this, the connotation of the imagery. So I'll read this here. He says keep. The translation adopts the correction of the marginal kri. The text proper, reversing the consonants of the verb, erroneously reads "be pleased with." Right. So that's like where Arstrol has it from. Is they say natsar as ritze or whatever, you know, Tirtzena. Okay, and then whore or strange woman, these are complementary possibilities of dangerous liaisons, the prostitute and the adulteress. Each is a trap into which a foolish man can tumble with a sexual sense of ditch and well manifest. Chapter 5 offers a contrasting image of conjugal sexuality as a pure well. So that is an intentional thing here of like a well and a pit being both a description for your relationship with her, but then also like an allusion to like the sexual act, you know. So that's just an intentional thing in case that's where your mind wants to go. Okay. All right. So that's that. And I think we could delete this. And yeah, I'm going to delete article even because we have the Greek stuff there. Okay. So what are the questions here? Oh, and also I'll just say, just by way of introduction, because we haven't talked about her here, this is a Mishlei trope, right? And I think Rabbi, I don't know how many of you have heard Rabbi Zimmer's series on Mishlei from 2 years ago, chapters 1 through 9, but like, you know, this is arguably the trope of all of Mishlei, which is the two women, right? There's the Isha Chayil or the Isha Chachama, and then there's the Isha Zonah and the Isha Nochriyah. I don't know what the meforshim say in terms, like those are two different metaphors that are used, the Isha Zonah and the Isha Nochriyah. There's also the Isha Mara, you know, there's these bad women, you know, and so I don't know if you're, you know, I'm sure the Malbim does not treat them as they're the same woman, but you know, so this is a big thing. And again, like in Rabbi Trachman's Sunday shiur, you know, which everyone should listen to, by the way. I don't think I said that on the thing yet. Everyone should listen to Rabbi Trachman's Sunday shiur because it was about shiurim. And that's the area that I have tried to break into for many, many years because it's the, you know, part of the trifecta. I can't get it. And that's the two shiurim that I recommend, or I guess, you know, one of them is a series, is Rabbi Maruf has excellent series on shiurim. That's really what opened the area for me, and that's what opened the area for Rabbi Trachman. And I think he has multiple series on his website, Yeshiva Deva Haskel. And then Rabbi Trachman gave a shiur on the Rambam's approach to shiurim. Amazing, but he talked about, you know, the use of the Tapuchi Zahav Maskios Kasef, the golden apples in the silver mesh, which is a mashal for Mishlei, which is that there's the external sense, which is valuable, but then the internal sense, which is the really valuable thing. And you can see glimmers of the inside thing through the mesh of the outside. And that's like the Meiri's derech nigleh, derech nistar. So in the derech nigleh, in the open silver meaning, this is talking literally about an adulteress or a prostitute. And then in the internal meaning, it's going to be talking about whatever Mishlei says that's talking about, and that's a whole question. So I don't know how much we're going to have to go into that. I believe, though, this is the first time we've really encountered this year, right? I don't think we talked about her this year yet. Yeah.
Can you send the shiur in the discussion chat?
The roof one or the retracting one?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. I'll try and remember to do that. Yeah. If you're going to prioritize the Rabbi Tracking one, because the Rabbi Maruf one is a series, and I think it's like good to get like the overview from Rabbi Trackman. Okay, what are the questions? Yeah.
I have a separate question.
Sure.
You were pairing these as two pesukim.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily seen it as being
The only reason is because of key.
the word key that was off.
Yeah, because this is not a sentence.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. But you're right. Yeah. So I guess we'll ask that as a question, right? What is the relationship between the two pesukim? Okay, right? Meaning, how is the advice in Chaf Vav tailored to the warning in Chaf Zayin? Yeah, Sean?
Yeah, what is the son paying attention to?
Yeah.
Exactly?
No, we can't fit it. Okay. Yeah. What exactly is the son paying attention to? Yeah.
What does it mean for your eyes to guard? And what are they guarding?
Sure. I want to modify this. What or to whom, right? Because unlike let me just compare the lashon here. In earlier things, okay, so I guess it doesn't say here, but elsewhere he does talk about listening to the words of Chachma. Here it is give over your heart or your mind to me, which seems like a focus on the person. Sorry, I didn't hear the second thing you said.
Before going on to
Yeah.
that, so then why is asking him to pay attention to the father versus Chachma, like we've been
Right.
talking about?
Okay, and if this is about the father, well, it actually, now that we look back, it has kind of been about the father also. Let's just compare the Lashonos here. B'ni im chacham libecha yismach li bigam ani. So that is not talking about how he gets it. He's just saying, if your heart has become wise, then my heart will also rejoice. But talosna kilesa b'deveres v'secha meshurim. Al yikani libcha b'chatayim im biur Hashem kol yom. Kim yesh achris v'tikos lo tikares. Shma ata b'ni b'chacham v'asher b'derech libecha. So he doesn't say what to listen to.
Yeah.
I don't know if we asked that question when we read that. Right? I'm sure. No, we did ask that. We definitely asked that. Also saying, listen to your father, doesn't say the content. That's the only thing we've seen that explicitly identifies content. Which is not even doing it directly to the father. It just seems to be in general. Yeah, so this is consistent. So this is consistent in the sense that it's not talking about. So hold on a second. So I think we have to totally modify our question now. So really, this is saying, okay. So let's just So what is the son paying attention to? And why is the emphasis on the person of the father, right? As opposed to the content of his teachings. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then the other question I had is, what does it mean for your eyes to guard?
Yeah. You don't.
And what are they guarding?
Right. Yeah. So what does it mean for your eyes to what's the phrase? Tsorna. And what was the second thing you said? And what are they?
And what are they guarding?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what are these drachim they are guarding? And I should say, by the way, it does mean guard, watch, or keep. Okay, those are the same thing with shomer. Shomer means guard, watch, or keep. Oh, you know what I never sent you? You might be interested in this also. I'll just say this on the thingy. So we used to give these shirashim quizzes throughout the high school curriculum, and this is for biblical Hebrew. So it is slightly different, but something here. Yeah. So these are, for example, from Aleph through Tav is, I think those are the shirashim that appear in Chumash like 500 plus times. And then next one is like ones that appear 300 plus times, then 200 plus, I forgot exactly what the numbers are, but like,
I would love that.
yeah. So these are really good in the sense that the goal of our high school curriculum was that I should be able to wake you up in the middle of the night and say, what does ayin nun hey mean? And you say, be humble, answer, or reflect, and these are vetted by me. Meaning that there were other, we received like this other thing, and like a lot of them I disagreed with, and like I had to defend all my arguments with the Radak and all this other stuff, but these are all vetted by me. So yeah, so I can I should try to post that. Oh, that's for later. All right. Okay. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. So guard, watch, keep. So guard with your eyes is, I think, the more difficult of the translation. Watch with your eyes, I think it makes more sense, but it can mean all of them. In fact, I'm going to actually say watch, guard, keep, because I think watch is more, yeah. So, and these are really two questions here, right? So what are the derachai, and then what does it mean for your eyes to Zonah them? Yeah. Yeah.
What's the difference between a harlot and?
Yes. Right. Okay. So what, if anything, is the difference between a Zonah and a Nochriyah?
And
yeah.
And a follow-up to that, and in what context they were like financial.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So
Life.
yeah. So what are the consequences of becoming involved with these women, right? So how are these consequences or like a deep pit and narrow well? Yeah.
And then what's the differences between the deep pit and the narrow well in terms of consequences?
Right. Yeah. What is the difference between these consequences? Just a side point here. So Zonah comes from the shorish of zana, which is to stray. Hold on just a second here. Where are we? Thank you. Yeah, Zonah. Okay, to commit fornication, to be a harlot, but like that you stray after, like and also a PSA. I think that this is the Ibn Ezra in Koheles, but I have to double check it. That when he's talking about ignorant mistakes that people make in pronouncing things in davening that that like could have really bad meanings. I believe he says that in Birkas Hamazon, right? If you say Zunenu, it means the one who provides nourishment. But if you call God Zonenu, it means you're calling him my prostitute, and that's not good. Okay, so but people say that. Like I've heard in benching people say that, and it's
Why hasn't anyone corrected anyone?
I should just in the middle of the benching slam. No, yeah. So I don't know. I think I asked this to somebody, and I think someone said maybe you can make an argument that Zonenu does come from like Hazan as Olam Glow. I don't know. I have to look. I know where it would be in the Ibn. Sorry, let's just deal with this right now because it's going to drive me crazy. It's in that. I feel like I mentioned this recently. The Ibn Ezra rant. Do we talk about that here? The Ibn Ezra rants, the 10 Ibn Ezra rants. Okay, no. So there's 10 Ibn Ezra rants, which are when he goes off on something. Sorry, not all rants. This one is a rant. There are 10 Ibn Ezra essays hidden throughout his writings, and you could tell them by if you're looking through anything and you see this much Ibn Ezra on one pasuk. So this is his rant against people against Putin, against people, specifically the Putin of the Kalir.
The ones I made last week.
Yeah, I did. Okay. So yeah, here we go. We should know the grammar of Hebrew very well. V'lo yadu ki zanenu hu min zana kmo anenu min ana. V'lo ye'amar min zan ki hu zunenu kmo shovna Elokei yishenu. So let's just make sure that we get this right here in terms of the translation. Hold on here. I think it's much deeper or much lower here. Hold on a second. Now, what was the other word? I'm just trying to find an English phrase that is there. Oh, grammar. Yeah, here we are. The word zanenu, feed us. Those who do not realize that zanenu comes from zana, turn aside, is like anenu. Yeah, so he doesn't say exactly what I said. He does say that people misunderstand it, but he does not explicitly say that zonenu. I do think zonenu means, unless it'd be Zonah Seinu. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask people who know TikTok. Yeah. Anyway, just something to be aware of. Yeah. Okay. Because it is Zunenu. It is Zunenu. Yeah. Zunenu. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. And then we have to ask here. Here's where we. I mean, I know we. This is kind of the implicit question in every case, but what are the nigleh and nistar ways of learning this pasuk, and I'm only asking that specifically here overtly because this is a trope in Mishlei. Yeah, David?
Talking about the deep pit and the narrow well.
Yeah.
What's the need for the added adjective?
Yeah.
I think for the pit. I mean, I think well.
Right. Why these added adjectives? Yeah.
Well, this might be obvious, but what is a strange person, woman?
Okay. Yeah. What are these add? Yeah. So. Okay, so the way that one of the translations that we read said it is that the Nochriyah is another man's wife, whereas a Zonah is a prostitute.
A Nochriyah is someone's wife.
Is another man's wife. Yeah.
Another man's wife.
Yeah, right. So meaning that Nochriyah would be adultery, and Zonah would be like extramarital sex.
So what if it's like not adultery and it's not a harlot, but it's some random non-Jewish woman? Like
that is the definition of
Zonah?
Okay. You're saying non-Jewish specifically?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's non-Jewish, then
it's not in this puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say for Mishlaic purposes, then that would be included in Zonah, even though halakhically, I mean, because halakhically Zonah is having bia with a Jewish woman without kiddushin. But for our purposes, I think this would apply to a non-Jewish.
So Nochriyah is illicit relationship.
Nochriyah is adultery according to that thing that I just said. But again, these could be things that the meforshim debate.
Okay, yeah, because I thought Nochriyah meant what I thought.
So Nochriyah in other contexts does mean non-Jewish, we'll have to figure out what it means. I think we should keep it an open question for now. Yeah, Sean?
Yeah, is there some meaning behind the creeps?
Yes, right. We should definitely ask that, especially given the article. So is there, let's put this here. Is there a significance to the Kri Ksiv beyond an erroneous reversal of letters? Right, because this is definitely one where it could easily be, swapping. Okay. Yeah. So what do we say? I think these are all the questions, right? I think the main question actually that the main question obviously we have to understand Chav Zayin, but I feel like we should understand Chav Zayin in conjunction with Chav Vav, like that what David was saying about how, like, why are we reading these two together?
Yeah, but also I think just one more question of how does this fit into the
correct, yeah,
broader context of everything?
Okay, so how does this fit into the local cluster thematically and sequentially? Yeah.
I mean, it's also funny how like he's saying, watch my ways. Like it's like you don't even have ways to watch it.
I don't get it. Say again.
Like he's saying, and let your eyes guard my ways.
Yeah.
Like first of all, what does that mean? The second of all, we asked this, but it's funny to say my ways versus like you don't have ways yet to guard.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, just to make sure we're on the same page here. So this is the father talking.
Seems
Right.
like it.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So he's saying, watch my. Yeah. So that's actually a good direction, right? That. So the question then is, how is watching the Father's ways? Well, I guess Father's ways can mean two things. It can mean either what the Father does, or it can mean like the derech he follows. Like in terms of like the way he makes decisions and stuff. And so the question is, how is that technique going to be instrumental in protecting him from these consequences? Yeah, David?
With Chav Zayin, is the warning here only particularly to only the extremes of Zonah and Nochriyah, or just anything within that?
Okay, that's a good question also. Yeah. Are like why I'm gonna say this. Why specify Zonah and Nochriyah? Like, is this the specific danger he is warning against, or does this represent a larger category of pitfalls? Pitfalls, right? Yeah. That's why we call it a pitfall. I never really thought about that. Right? It's yeah. They don't just call it a fall. They call it a pitfall because you get stuck in it. Yeah.
Yeah, just going on Ario's question on Nochriyah.
Yeah.
So Nochriyah could also mean just like strange in general, meaning like
Right. Strange to you.
Nochriyah,
Right.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily need to be like a non-Jewish person or anything like that. It could
Right.
mean like someone who's whatever.
A foreigner, yeah,
strange or
right.
strange element.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I actually want to do something that we don't usually do. I want to just see. I don't know if this is going to be possible. Let's just look at Metzudas Sion. Oh no, I would have put Metzudas Sion if there was Metzudas Sion here. There isn't. I just want to see really quickly when the first time in Mishlei Nochriyah is used, and just see if we can get from context any more information, and then Zonah also. Zonah I feel is used not as much in Mishlei. Okay, so let's see Nochriyah in Mishlei. 7 times. Okay, 2:16, and then Zonah in Mishlei 3 times. Yeah. Okay. So let's. Oh, this is the good parak. I mean, there's a lot of good parak in Mishlei. No, I mean this is the good parak in terms of our thing here. Okay, so let's start off with the Nochriyah. So at the end of chapter 2. I got to make sure there's no, okay, yeah, end of chapter 2, it says, where does it begin now? Oh, this is the chapter that we're planning to do next week. Yeah, so let's just continue reading from where we left off yesterday, right? So then you'll understand your fear of Hashem and the knowledge of God you will find. Because Hashem gives chachma, from his mouth is knowledge and understanding. Yitzpon la'yisharim tushia, he guards for yisharim tushia. Tushia can be translated in 6 ways. Okay, so Art Scroll translates as the eternal Torah. It could mean chachma, it could mean systems, a lot of stuff it could mean. Magin l'holchei, a shield for those who walk with integrity. Linsor ochos mishpat, to guard ways of justice. V'derech chasidav yishmor, and the ways of his pious ones he will guard. Az tavin tzedek mishpat, then you will understand righteousness and justice. Umesharim kol ma'agal tov, and uprightness, every good path. Kisavu chachma b'libecha, when chachma enters your heart. And knowledge is sweet to your soul. Mizima tishmor laka. See, did we have mizimos in a negative way recently, or is that a Monday night cheer? I can't remember now. Yeah, we had a Monday night cheer. So mizima is one of the terms of Mishlei that can be used in negatively or positively. Here, this is good. Mizima, which means like strategy or cunning, will guard you. Tivuna tinsareka. Understanding will protect you. Lahatzilcha miderech ra'o, not yet. To save you from a bad path, from a man who speaks duplicity, who abandon the ways of uprightness to walk in paths of darkness, which is what the Rambam says in Hilchos Deos in chapter 6. Who rejoice to do evil, they are glad in their evil duplicities, which is an interesting thing, contrasting that to the Gila and Simcha that we were talking about for the sun. Asher orchosem ikshim, that their ways are twisted, unilozim b'maglos, and they're crooked in their paths. All right, here we go now. Lahatzilcha me'isha zara, to save you from a strange woman. So this is another word for strange, like zar. Nochriyah, from a foreign woman, whose statements are smooth. Ha'ozeves aluf ne'uraha, who abandons the love of her youth. As bris elo keha shechecha, and she forgets the covenant of her God. Kishacha el mavis besa, her house is a pit towards death. The el rafaim magloseha, and her paths lead to corpses. Kol ba'ehelo yeshuvan, all who come to her do not return. Lo yisifu orchos chaim, they will not attain the ways of life. Laman telech v'derech tovim, in order, now this is going back to what you should do, in order that you go on the path of the good. V'orchos tzadikim tishmor, and the paths of the tzadikim you guard. Ki yesharim yishkenu aretz utmimim yivasru ba, because those who are upright will dwell in the land, and those who are wholesome will Yivasruba will remain in it. Urushaim me'eretz yikaresu, and the wicked will be cut off from the land. Ubogdim yischu mimena, and the traitors will be removed from it, something like that. Okay, so the only thing we see here is this is a woman who has abandoned her husband, it seems. Okay, so I do think that we can assume as a working definition that Nochriyah is a married woman. Okay, and she's zar and Nochri because she's not yours, she's someone else's. Now compare that to, but see, we're gonna get to this problem also. The Zonah is also like that. Oh, I'm gonna read this anyway. Oh, no, this is a different reference. Okay, maybe, all right, whatever. Ba'ad ish Zonah, wait. Yeah, okay. This is a Hanukkah pasuk. We did this last year at Hanukkah. Okay. Nitzor b'ni mitzvah savicha, guard my son, is the same word nitzor, the mitzvah of your father, and don't abandon the teaching of your mother. Kashrim ali b'chatami, tie them to your heart constantly, undim al gargosecha, bind them to your neck like a necklace. B'hisalechacha tamche osach, when you walk, it will guide you. B'shachbacha tishmor lecha, when you lie down, it will protect you. B'hakitzosa, when you wake up, hisisichacha, it will converse with you. This I've thought many times that this should be the motto of our morning Mishlei shiur, that when you get up, you have a conversation with the Mishlei, but you have to get up in order to have the conversation with the Mishlei. Ki ner mitzvah v'torah or v'derech chaim tochos musar, because a mitzvah is a lamp and Torah is light, and a way of life is the rebukes of discipline. Lishmor me'eshes ra, to guard you from a, now I think this is supposed to be an evil woman, even though Eshes Ra makes it sound like the wife of a bad man. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to translate this as an evil woman. From the smooth talking of a stranger woman. Do not covet her beauty in your heart. Don't be taken in by her fluttering eyelids. Okay, I think that's literally what it means. Because for the sake of a straying woman, for a loaf of bread, for another man's wife, a precious soul will be ensnared. Don't know what that means. I don't know if those are two different things. Can a man rake fire into his lap and his clothing not be burned? That's a rhetorical question. The answer is no. His clothing not be burned. Yeah. Yeah, it is strange, right? Yeah. The answer to that is yes. You walk the right way. But can a man walk on coals and his feet not be burned? Yeah, right. Kain haba el eshes re'ehu. So too one who goes to his fellow's wife. Lo yinake kol hanogea ba. Anyone who touches her will not be vindicated, meaning he won't escape with any. He won't escape scot-free. Lo yavuzu laganav ki yinov lamali nafsho ki yirav. No one is going to disparage a thief who steals to satisfy his soul when he's starving. V'nimsa yishalim shivasayim. Turns out he'll pay sevenfold. As kol hon beso yitain. He'll give all the wealth of his house. I don't think that's actually the din when you steal bread, but whatever. But no, if isha chasar lev. But someone who commits adultery with a woman, he lacks a heart. Mashchis nafsho hu ya'asena. He's acting in a way that destroys his soul. Negav akala nimsa. He will find affliction and shame. And his shame will not be able to be erased. Kikina chamas gaver, because the jealousy burns in a man. I think that's talking about her husband. And he will not have compassion on the day of his vengeance. Lo yisa pnei kol kofir. He will not take any bribe. Lo yoveh ki sar b'shofan. He will not assent when no matter how many bribes you give him. So that does seem to be talking about another man's wife, and it calls her Isha Nochriyah, but the difficulty is it also said Zonah in the same thing. So the answer is, I don't know. The answer is, I don't know how. I think for our purposes, if we're going to differentiate between them, I think we should just say one of them is a prostitute and the other one's another man's wife. And then of the two, I'd say Zonah is the prostitute and the Nochriyah is a man's wife. Yeah.
Yeah. So of the start of an approach.
Sure.
Okay. So you had mentioned Shema, and there was a great idea I heard in terms of Shema.
Yeah.
Right. That there's right. It's
Yeah.
So there's both an element of the heart and an
Yeah.
element of the eyes,
Right.
which also seems to be present within this process.
Oh, good call. Oh, good call. Good call. Yeah. That's nice. Heart and eyes.
So
Yeah.
you should be inclining your heart, and you should also be inclining your eyes towards the Father. right?
Yeah.
And so the idea that I heard over there was that heart's more like an internal thing. right?
Yeah.
So it's the internal is pushing you toward action.
Yeah.
Right? And so you should align your internal desires towards the good.
Yeah.
Right. And einacha is that you're seeing something external to you, and that's changing your desires. So there's both that your desires hype you up towards certain things
Yeah.
and push you towards certain realities, and then also external things
Right.
push you towards certain realities. And
Yeah.
so you need to align both of those things with the Father and whatever He's
Yeah.
telling you in order to ensure that both your internal desires and external things which feed your desires
Yeah.
do not push you towards being with a
Yeah.
Zonah
Okay.
or a
That's a really good approach. And then I like the, I did not notice the explicit allusion to the Losasiru pasuk. Yeah, that's really good. Okay. So then now, if we're going to take that approach, which I do want to take, we have to see what in particular does that mean? Give your mind or your heart to your Father, and your eyes should guard His way. And I think we do have to ask here also, I think this is a good thing to talk about the difference between your biological father, your Rebbe father, and then your Shlomo father, right? Like those are the three possibilities that we've been playing around with here. Yeah, no one said God yet, though, right? That was the thing that you would expect Rashi to say, but
Yeah, I haven't checked in.
yeah, and I think there's a reason. I mean, this could be the reason. No, this could be not the reason why. I don't know. Yeah, I think it was father and mother, but Rashi is fine saying mother means Knesset Yisrael also, though. So yeah,
I was thinking, when we were reading through that last bit about
Yeah.
the wife thing.
Yeah.
I heard right that according to I don't know who, maybe you mentioned it was him, I don't know, that like it's that's the two women, right?
yeah,
But like the whole like husband thing kind of sounded like it could be like martial for God kind of thing.
yeah,
Like,
right, yeah,
like,
definitely,
like,
right. She's
like,
found the bris for God. Yeah. That, and that's definitely in the okay, except in Shir Shirim sometimes, which randomly goes back and forth between genders. In general, the woman is Klal Yisrael and the individual mind, and then God is the husband. Yeah,
I would say though, with this approach,
Yeah.
that the Greek sieve has more value to it.
I do think so also. Yeah, I mean, you have to want it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's part of what it's talking about in Shema.
Right,
too, is
right.
that your eyes are desiring.
Yeah. Okay, this is a good approach. Giving your mind also, I think I'm more inclined to say is it's an idiom. It means pay attention, but I think it's a very powerful thing. Give your mind or give your heart to your Father, right? That's not just saying like Shema b'ni musar avicha is much more of a retaining of an identity and just like taking in teachings. This is like give over your heart.
It's
You
like a
know.
total submission.
Yeah, in some way. Right. So guarding your eyes, I think, is like simple, maybe, right? I mean, not taking the Greek sieve into account, but like you can't look at stuff that awakens these desires because what happens is that if you look at the actual Isra of what just make sure we're on the same page here. What is the Isra? This is one, Sefer King says there are 6 mitzvahs which are always in operation. Can anyone name them?
I assume
Yiras Hashem,
Yiras Hashem,
Avos Hashem,
Avos Hashem.
knowledge.
Yeah, Anochi Hashem Elokecha.
I can remember the words. Talmud Torah.
Nope. Oh, sorry. Let me clarify. Mitzvahs that are in operation for all Jews at all times. Yeah. And women are part from Talmud Torah. Nope. No, that in fact we do once a day or on or twice, whatever. Yeah.
All times you mean like
Every moment of your life. Every moment of your life.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the corollary to Anochi Hashem Elokecha?
Oh, yeah.
Lo yeh lecha Elohim achrim apanai. Okay, then there's this one hint. Okay, right. Lo sasur achar levavchem achrei nechem.
And then
And then what's the most important yesod in the das? No. Yichud Hashem.
oh,
Okay, Shema Yisrael Shem Elokeinu Shem Echad. Yeah, okay, fine. So those are the 6. So what is lo sasur achar levavchem achrei nechem? What is no, that was just setting you up to say that you should pay attention to what I'm about to say, because this is a mitzvah that applies at all times. So what is the halacha of lo sasur achar levavchem achrei nechem? What does it consist of? Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
like with women or with like Avodah Zarah? Because I've heard it like
Well, that is the answer.
Okay.
All right. The answer is achrei levavchem zo. Let's look at the. Let's just do this. We have to follow a Rambam policy of whenever there's something that's an ikar, we have to talk about it. And this will also help us. I mean, clearly with this. I'm going to the. This is .il. I know I say this every time I do this. I got to go through all the resources. This is the only place you can find Kafich's translation of Sefer Mitzvos online for free. So he says the 6th. Oh, sorry, hold on a second. So this is in Lo Sases, Lo Sasuru, not Sasuru. Right, hold on a second. Apparently there was a I don't know what year this was. There was a year in the printing press, like early years, they printed a Bible and they misprinted thou shalt commit adultery, and the printers like got fined like a tremendous amount. Like they printed like tons of Bibles. Yeah.
That's why everybody jumped on that bandwagon.
Wait, achrei levav. Why am? Oh, because it's. Sorry, hold on just a second. Okay, I'll just say while I'm looking, I'll say the drasha. The drasha is lo sasur achrei levavchem zo minus v'achrei einechem zo znus. So after your heart, that's heresy. Okay, which the Rambam defines as that isser as thinking about anything that will cause you to uproot one of the ikarim. Okay, and then achrei einechem zo znus. That's znus. Again, is like promiscuity or licentiousness, but it has a specific connotation here. Sorry, hold on a second. I just clicked. I'm just clicked the wrong thing. Hold on. Hemshech. Okay, memvav. Memvav. Is it mem? Wait, did I say memvav or mem zayin? Sorry, mem zayin. And for some reason it's not in bold. Mem zayin. No, it's not. No, that's memvav. Thanks. Okay, okay, I gave a whole share in this of whether the Torah is pro or against free thinking, but the way he expresses it here, this is the prohibition to be free in our thoughts. So the point where we believe in opinions that are contrary to Torah. We should fence in our thoughts and make a guard against them, and these fences are the mitzvahs of the Torah and its prohibitions. Don't stray after your heart. That's heresy. I found a woman who is more bitter than death. Okay, that's another thing with heresy. That's in Koheles, he quotes. After your eyes, that is nus. Okay, I don't know the context there, embarrassingly enough. So it seems like a very broad isser. Pursuing enjoyments and taiva and bodily taivas and involving your mind, your thoughts in it constantly. Okay, so that's just the basic line isser. Now that doesn't line up exactly with what Sean was saying, because Sean was saying that in the realm of the literal interpretation, there's a role of the heart and there's a role of the eyes, which I think we should take that approach. But then the same thing is in the realm of the minus, there's a role of the heart and there's a role of the eyes. Okay, we have to stop for today, but I just wanted to show you really quickly for those who are, I can send this in the chat. I don't have to go through it. For those who are visual, I don't know if anyone else is picturing the women, but because so there's this book I bought called Verissimus, which is a graphic novel of a biography of Marcus Aurelius. which goes through all of his teachings. So I just read a thing where his Rebbe teaches him the parable of the two women. And this is how I picture them. So that's the Isha, Nochriyah, and the Zonah. And then this is the woman of virtue, who's like advising him about the correct form of happiness. So I'll send this to you so you can get the punchline. It's a different mushal than the one that Shlomo uses, but I find it interesting that they use the same mushal of the two women. And I won't spoil to you who the women are. It's just a three page thing. I'll send. Yeah. All right. So this is good to think about for tomorrow. So I'm liking these two pesukim here. Okay. Stop for today.
Thanks.
Yep. Thank you. Okay, I'll tell you the language thing later on.